My 9/11 remembrance. I had just gotten my waterfront house back from a summer rental and was in a celebratory mood. I bicycled into Sag Harbor to the Paradise restaurant for a delicious bite to eat. As I was biking into town, I heard on my headphone radio that one of the Twin Towers had been struck by an airplane. I couldn't believe what I had just heard. I thought it was some kind of a sick prank by one of the radio announcers. I parked my bike and walked into the Paradise. When I was ordering my food, I told the waitress what I had just heard on the radio. She ran to the television and turned it on. We both watched the other tower being struck by the second plane. Needless to say, I couldn't eat when my food was served. I paid for the food bill, got on my bike, and pedaled to Marine Park, my favorite place, to seek some solace. Upon arriving at the park, I put my bike down and started biking towards the water's edge. Even though we had just come under attack by terrorists, I felt a small measure of peace and tranquility come over me looking out at my beloved Sag Harbor, the place which brought so much joy and happiness to me and my parents over the many years, the place which had helped heal the emotional wounds I had been suffering from as a result of walking point in the Canine Corps in Vietnam. As I was walking back to my bike, I happened to glance into a garbage can on the outskirts of the park and saw our glorious flag lying face down unpeacefully in the can. I am enclosing the story of saving our American beauty, our symbol of independence and freedom. Old Glory, may she wave forever. Spare your country's flag, she said. As I was walking into town, I spotted an American flag lying in the bottom of an old garbage can. As I stared in disbelief at my country's flag lying face down in its metal coffin, I couldn't help but wonder why anyone would throw the symbol of America away. Seeing the stars and stripes lying unpeacefully in this garbage can reminded me of a saying I once heard. When somebody or something dies an unpeaceful death, their spirit roams the earth until it's finally put to rest. I wasn't going to let this flag that I had fought for and almost laid down my life for die alone, forsaken in a trash can. I reached into my country's flag's resting place and gently picked it up. I tenderly draped it over my left arm like a waiter in a high-class restaurant. A slight breeze started blowing, and suddenly, to my amazement, the flag started stirring on my arm. Old Glory, despite the beating it had taken, it was torn, dirty, stained, wrinkled, and tattered. It was still alive. It even reminded me of the way I looked after I got back from Vietnam. I rushed my country's flag to the cleaners to have the dirt stains and wrinkles removed, then hurried to the tailor to have the tears and tatters stitched. When I arrived at the tailor's the following day, I couldn't believe my eyes. There stood my country's flag tall and proud. I snapped to attention and threw it a salute that even all of our country's greatest generals would have been proud to receive. My country's flag acknowledged my salute and reciprocated by waving back at me. My first inclination was to take this magnificent-looking American beauty back home with me and put it on a flagpole in my front yard, and so I did. And each morning when I rise, I raise this majestic-looking flag toward the skies, and each night when I go to bed, I can't help but think of all the Twin Tower and Pentagon dead. If I had one wish left in this world, it would be to help ease the pain and suffering of all those who have just lost someone near and dear in this tragic series of events.